Good morning or good afternoon, Mr. Leshem is here and we are continuing with our exploration of cofunction. Cofunction, okay, I've written what we already had here. Unfortunately, I don't think I recorded that lesson. But whenever I have 90 minus alpha or 90 plus alpha, if I'm adding or even subtracting 90, I didn't write it down, the sine becomes the cosine becomes the sine. And the only thing we need to decide is whether we pick up a negative or positive sign. Okay, so for example, sine 90 plus alpha, okay, right, it's going to become cosine alpha. Why is it positive? Because sine 90 plus alpha, we are in the second quadrant, the sign is positive, so it's going to remain positive. But if I've got cosine 90 plus alpha, okay, cosine 90 plus alpha, again, we're still in the second quadrant, but cosine is negative, so I must slap in the minus. Okay? Now we're going to carry on and look at 270. So we're going to try and calculate, okay, it's not stuff that you got to remember, you understand. If you understand it, you'll be able to do it. Calculate things like sine theta plus 270, or the same for cosine. And then we're going to look at theta minus 270. Now, before we do that, let's just look at our circle, okay? So this is like, we call it the cofunction circle, okay? So if we assume, as we always assume, that theta, the angle is in the first quadrant, if I'm adding 90, I'm in the second. If I'm adding 180 or minusing 180, I'm in the third quadrant. If I'm minus 90, I'm in the fourth. Now I want to recognize that theta minus 90 is actually the same as theta plus what?
270.
Bingo! Bingo, Michal.
Bingo.
Okay? I can go to here, from here to here, I can either minus 90 degrees, or I can go a 1.5 circle, which is plus 270. Okay? Plus 90, plus 90, plus 90. Yeah? Okay, and this one, okay, instead of theta plus 90, I can also write it as theta minus what?
270.
Minus 270. Once you understand that, then that's it. It's done. It's really done. Okay? I'll just pause it. Yeah. Pause and explain it. Once we get that, everything falls into place. Okay, how's that? Sine plus 270. Okay, so first of all, and then you just need to remember, 270, just like with the 90, it's a cofunction. In other words, the sine will become cosine theta, right? It's going to become cosine theta.
Hold on.
Okay, alright, I didn't say that. I'll drop the bomb now.
Why?
Okay? When I'm adding 270 or minus 270, okay, focus. When I'm adding the 270, is the same as 90. It's a cofunction. Just, I can prove it. But let's not go that way.
Relax.
Let's just relax. Okay, I'll prove it. Alright, so, guys, so sine theta plus 270, we say that's a cofunction, so become cosine. We just need to decide whether there's a positive or negative. So I'm looking at sine theta plus 270. That means we are in the third quadrant. What happens to sine here? Is that negative or positive? Negative. We'll give them a negative. Okay? Let's have a look at cosine.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, I'll just pause. Next one. Cosine. Okay? The cosine will become, because of that 270,
Negative sine theta.
it will become, let's say, sine. Now, cosine theta plus 270. Cosine is positive here. Cosine is negative, but cosine is positive. So it's positive. I'll leave it like that. Okay? Yeah. Sine theta minus 270. Again, because I've got like 270, that becomes cosine theta. We just need to decide whether it's positive or negative. Theta minus 270, I'll go up here and you're right, it's positive. It's positive, so it will stay positive. Cosine theta minus 270 will be sine theta. Okay, again, we are in the second quadrant. Cosine is negative, so that should be negative. I'll just pause. Sometime, instead of theta minus 270, we're going to get sine 270 minus theta. Now, what do we do now? I mean, because I'm not adding, well, I am adding 270, but I don't have, it's not 270 plus theta, it's 270 minus theta. I'm going to hear what you guys have to think. What is Buzwe telling us? He said, look, it's just the minus is the wrong way around. I've done that, theta minus 270, but this is the wrong way around. So we can write as sine minus theta minus 270. Okay, we're going to write it like that. Now, we need to remember what happens to negative angles when it comes to sine.
You have to even them out.
It becomes positive.
The sine negative angle become negative, right?
Oh, yes.
So that's going to be minus sine theta minus 270. So you got to do two steps here. Okay, I'll explain again. Okay, to swap the signs, right, I had to put that minus.
Yeah.
That means I've got a negative angle. This is like, that's the angle, that's the negative. And the rule we learned, if you remember earlier, sine minus theta is minus sine theta. So we got the minus out. Now this one we know, we've done it. Okay? So what did we write that? It's minus cosine theta. Yeah, that's positive cosine theta. Unfortunately, we have a minus there. I'll wait. And then let's just do the other, for the same thing for cosine, okay? Cosine 270 minus theta, okay? So to swap the sign, we must do cosine minus, and what should I write here? Theta minus 270, okay. Now what happens to negative angles with cosine? Okay, if I have cosine minus theta, what is that equal to?
It becomes
Just cosine theta.
Yeah.
Cosine is like indifferent to negative angles. It's the same. Because the first and the fourth quadrant are the same. So I can just ditch that negative. So I'm going to have cosine theta minus 270, which I've already done that somewhere. That's minus sine theta. Okay? I can hear that some of you have done it a different way. Maybe we can have a look at it now if you want to stay, or we can do it after school. Anyway, have a lovely, lovely day. We'll, oh, homework. And I gotta give you homework now in a second. Cheerio. Hello guys. Okay, I'm recording this little video after you guys already left. I had a chat with Jojo, and actually she came up with a much better explaining what we did just at the end of the lesson. How do we find the sine and cosine of 270 minus theta? Okay, so it's not theta minus 270. Okay, we are not moving from a certain theta here, okay, to 270 in this direction or 270 in that direction. We do 270 minus theta. Now, what Jojo realized very cleverly, she said, okay, instead of, forget about the theta for a second, what we're going, we're starting from 0. What is 270? 270 is here. Okay? So we're going from 0 to 270, and then we do minus theta. Okay? So we're moving minus theta in this direction. So how is that helping us? Okay? So we know that as soon as we've got 270 or 90, we know it's a cofunction, so we are going to have cosine theta. And the only thing left for us to decide is whether it's going to be negative or positive. Now, if I know I did 270 and then minus theta, voila, I'm in the third quarter. And in the third quarter, the sign, like the cosine, is negative. So I'm going to have a negative sign here. Okay? Clever, eh? Much, much quicker than the way I did it. Okay? The same thing can be done for cosine. Okay? Cosine 270 minus theta. Okay, it's going to be sine theta with a plus or minus in front. So I'm, again, doing plus 270, so I'm getting here, minus theta. Okay? That means I'm still in the third quadrant, and my cosine, just like the sine is negative, so I'm getting minus sine. Much, much quicker. Now, what I like about this way, apart from the fact that it's quicker, it has less stages. It's just one stage. And the thing is, if we do a certain question in more than one stage, there's more chance for us to make a mistake. So that's why it's really worthwhile to learn these shortcuts. Less chance of making a mistake. Take care. Bye-bye.